Hello, Mr. Isama. I hope you're safe and having a nice day. My name is Melissa Araniva, and first of all, I would like to apologize because of the bad noises, but this is the online environment, and this is the way that we live, so we cannot do something else. Let's start with a question. I would like to ask you a question, and you're going to think it and answer it on your mind. The question is, during the quarantine, what have you been doing the most? Have you been describing things, giving information, or delivering messages through an application? Could be your email, your WhatsApp, Telegram, or so on. Or have you been describing things, giving information, delivering messages through orally? So you're going to think it and answer it. You're going to have 10 seconds in order to answer that question. Okay, let's suppose that you have answered that question. And the topic for today is, or the topic that I'm going to be loving today is the function of language. Okay, there are 5 functions of language. And why are they so important? They are very important and useful because we make use of them every single day. They help us in order to deliver messages, give information, describe things, express our feelings or emotions, in order to describe something through adjectives, and also to give or receive comments. As you can see here, we have 5 colors, and each of them represents one function of language. We have the informational function, the expressive function, directive function, static function, and emphatic function. Let's start with the informational function. Okay, this one is said that it is the most important one. Why? Because we make use of them every single day. We describe things, we give information, we deliver messages, and also we transmit a lot of information through this online environment. Maybe the whole time or almost the whole time we are giving messages or giving information to our familiars or teachers, students, classmates, and so on. So that's the informational function. And a good example for this one could be when a student asks you for permission because he or she is having an emergency or troubles with their internet connection. So he gives you information or she gives you information. He describes things that in this case he describes the situation and deliver the message, which is going to be he's not going to be participated on your class because of that situation. So that's the informational function because that person is giving you information about the troubles or something related to. The second one is the expressive function. This helps us in order to express our emotions or feelings and deliver particular information. It helps us when we have no enough words in order to describe what we are feeling or our emotion that we are feeling in that moment. So it is amazing how a human being is able to understand what the other person is trying to transmit through a facial cue or a gesture. Let's see an example. When a woman tells you, and look at my facial cue, we need to talk. Okay, you know that these 4 words, we need to talk, are everything, and something bad is going to happen, or a good bad news is going to be given by that woman. But if a woman tells you we need to talk, you know that because of my facial cue, I am happy and I am going to give you a good news. So that's the expressing function because I am expressing my feelings, emotions, ideas, thoughts by a facial cue and giving or delivering particular information. The third one is the directive function. Okay, in this case, it helps us in order to receive or give comments and also in order to answer yes or no questions. Let's see an example. When your mother tells you, come on and wash the dishes, you are receiving a comment, and what you are going to do is stand up, and go and wash the dishes because you don't want to have problems, right? So you have received a command, or you can give it as well. But in this case, your mom is asking you. Then your mother can ask you, "Do you wash the dishes?" And you're going to reply or answer her, "Yes, I did," or "No, I didn't," because that's a yes or no question. The fourth one is the static function. That in this case, words. We use words as a tool, and the adjectives are a must. We need to be sure about which adjective are we going to be working or using in order to describe a book, a paint, magazine, or whatever you want to describe. In this case, let's suppose that this flower, this is a handmade flower, right? Let's suppose that someone famous did it with his or her hands. Okay, and I am in a exposition or presentation, let's suppose. I am going to say, "What a beautiful flower," because in my case, or in my point of view, it looks beautiful. And I am describing it with an adjective. I am using the adjective beautiful. I'm not saying this flower could help me in order to decorate my bedroom. I am not describing by its use. I am describing it by an adjective, which is beautiful. And the last one is the emphatic function. Okay, this one helps us in order to have a social relationship environment. We're going to build a good or healthy environment because we're going to avoid small talks. There are no small talks in this case. Which are or what are small talks? Okay, a small talks, in my point of view, is when Mario tells me good morning and I reply him good morning. Okay, that's a small talk because we have no conversation. We have a little talks, and the conversation ends up there. So it also helps us in order to have a long conversation, which could be a long conversation. When Mario tells me, "Good morning, how are you?" and I reply to him, "Good morning, I'm fine. What about you? What have you been doing last week? What are you going to do next week? What are you going to do right now?" And so on. So we're going to start having a long conversation, and this is the function of the emphatic function. This is the purpose of the emphatic function. So let's summarize everything in order to understand and put it on clear. The first one is the informational function, which helps us in order to describe things, deliver messages, or give information. The second one is the expressive function, which helps us in order to describe or express our feelings and emotions through facial cues or by gestures. And the third one is the directive function that help us in order to receive or give comments, also ask yes or no questions, and could be true or false questions as well. The fourth one is the static function, which words are used, or we use words as a tool, and adjectives are a must in this case. We need to be sure about which adjective are we going to be using in order to describe the object or the thing that we want to describe. And the last one is the emphatic function, which helps us in order to have a long conversation in a social relationship environment, or a good environment, healthy environment, in order to have the communication with someone else. So, as a homework, you are going to bring me next week one or two examples. It doesn't matter how many. You're going to bring me one or two examples per each function of language, but these examples must be yours. I mean, you cannot like creating or imagining those examples. You're going to tell me informational function, okay, something happened to you, expression function about something that happened to you, and so on with the rest. So this is my whole participation or my presentation. Thank you so much and have a nice day. Take care.